Care workers, you are our true heroes right now. And Colton Schoen spoke to a UNM nursing expert who is helping nurses all across the country draw up battle plans against this coronavirus.
An assistant professor at the UNM Health Science Center says that there are nearly 4 million nurses across the country, and they're really on the front lines here, taking care of patients 24/7. She says the healthcare industry needs to put a plan into place to protect them. This nasty virus has taken over many hospitals in our country and across the world. Medical staff are being hit with COVID-19 now too, as they take care of patients who have it. Mary Pat Coig with the College of Nursing at UNM says some areas of our country are better prepared than others to handle this crisis.
So I know that there are many people who are actively engaged in the planning and the preparations and the work that needs to be done to make sure that New Mexico is prepared.
Coig, along with 2 other nursing experts in disaster and public health emergency, have written up plans for nurses to fight this pandemic, published in the American Journal of Nursing. Implement crisis staffing contingency plans, expand the workforce as soon as possible, and ensure health of nurses and access to personal protective equipment.
I know that some states are looking at how nursing students, senior nursing students who have gone through most of their academic and clinical training, how they might be used, and then also looking at perhaps nurses who have retired recently and would be willing to come back and help.
Coig says we can really learn a lot from a time like this to prepare for the next pandemic.
AppKV was working on finding the helpers, people in the community who are working to fill the needs like a shortage of masks. I got the chance to meet a group of women who, tapping into the little experience they have, are stepping up to help. As a countrywide shortage of protective medical equipment continues, frontline workers helping others are struggling to keep themselves safe while doing so.
We understand that there's a limited resources, and so that's my initial idea.
In Tri-Cities, Yi Chen Cooper is leading a group of 16 Chinese women.
I need to do something creative and functional at the same time.
Helping to hand make masks.
I've taken sewing classes before, and my mom also wanted to learn, so I had her.
I've taken one sewing class before.
I took a class back in Taiwan before I came here, but I'm not so very well.
Some of them don't have sewing machine, but they go to buy fabric and they help to cut.
Depending on previous skill level, it can take them hours.
Unexperienced ones like me, it took me 2 hours to figure this out. You need a cut and a sew and the iron.
These masks are made of cloth and feature a pouch. You can slide a filter into the pouch and take it out if you want to replace it or wash the mask.
When the school is out, then I start thinking that school districts still want to deliver the lunch. At the same time, they don't have protection.
So today is delivery day. Cooper driving around Richland, dropping off masks with those school workers. Her and her team making sure no one is forgotten.
This is very new concept for everybody, but I do think it's something to know how to protect ourselves and the others.
When it's not being passed around, small churches like Remount Baptist Church in North Charleston are now rising to the challenge. As Eli Brand tells us, they have a faith and a plan.
Many small churches in the Lowcountry are looking for help in the midst of this financial crisis, and the best place for them to look may be to one another. Faith, not fear. That's the message at Remount Baptist Church in North Charleston. But what they have to fear isn't just the coronavirus.
That a lot of our churches are having to dip back into their financial reserves, as well as pull back into some of their savings that they've saved aside.
Financial fears aren't new to many small churches, but they have gotten worse in this pandemic. With no services, a lack of technology to use for online giving, and an older congregation who can't go out, churches like Remount Baptist need help, and they have faith it will come.
God is the provider.
Charleston Baptist Association official Craig Tuck is hopeful that help will come from other members of the faith community.
We're going to begin asking some of our older or our stronger churches to come alongside to help those that are weaker in some way.
The leader of one of those older, stronger churches, Randy Harling, who is pastor of Somerville Baptist Church, says his congregation is helping out by offering recording equipment and space to take services online. And Harling says this crisis may be a blessing in disguise.
I think that in the middle of it and coming through this, we have a great opportunity to share the hope of the world that we believe in, which is Christ.
When this passes, missionaries from large churches could be sent to smaller congregations to help them get back on their feet. But no matter how long the parking lots are empty, this one message
People who are taking the time to thank healthcare workers battling this virus on the front lines. And you can see their messages here. There's some thank you signs right here just outside of Mass General Hospital in Boston. 7's Juliana Mazza is there with more on all these messages. They have got to go a long way for those people showing up for work. Juliana?
Jadiana, it really does. I mean, it's certainly so important for all of us to stop for a minute and say thank you to our healthcare workers and first responders who are on the front lines during these difficult times. Again, those signs that you just saw posted really all around the city and close to MGH, taking a moment just to say thank you.
Created a Facebook page to get people in our neighborhood to put up hearts in our community, and everybody started doing it and then sharing it.
It's now a viral campaign, Hearts for Healthcare Workers. Thousands of people across the U.S. displaying hearts in front of their home to let those on the front lines know they're appreciated. And it all started with this one heart in New Hampshire.
I wanted to just let him know that we're thinking about him all the time, that we're really with him.
Tanya Russell's husband, Andrew, works as an emergency room physician, so she started the campaign to let him and others know how cherished they are during these difficult times.
Feeling that outpouring of support from the media and from people like Tanya, who started this amazing page, is very important to keeping people on the battlefield.
And local restaurants working to feed those on the battlefield.
We're just focused on the front line.
John Pepper of Beloco Restaurants started a GoFundMe called Feed the Front Line. They drop prices so a $5 donation equals one burrito sent to a healthcare worker or first responder. It's raised more than $18,000 in 2 days and also helps to keep their workers employed.
You just need to have, wholesome, healthy, delicious, and most importantly, affordable food, because the customers of ours who pay $10 or $12 or $15, they're gone.
And you don't have to be a big company to help. Ashley Persico of Wilmington is using her own money to buy as many $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift cards as she can for first responders.
I consider myself one of the lucky ones. I work for a tech company. I'm working from home perfectly fine, haven't been affected by the layoffs. I think it just goes to show that, you don't have to have a ton of money right now to be supporting your community and giving back when you can.
And restaurants are helping out in more ways than one. Coming up at 5, we'll show you how one restaurant in Quincy is helping to feed the homeless, a population that needs so much help as well right now. That story again coming up on
One military community has launched a program to recognize children for their acts of kindness.
While their parents are serving the country, military children can model that behavior by serving their community.
Living with an active service member comes with great responsibility. It almost breeds taking care of people in your community just because they try to emulate what their parents do.
Hunt military communities have bases all over the United States, even right here in Springfield.
A military division that provides housing to service members in over 44 communities.
Every April is Month of the Military Child, but this year Hunt military communities wanted to do something special and highlight many children who make a positive impact in their community.
We launched Hunt Little Heroes because we recognize that there are children that do things around their community that are extraordinary, but they really don't get called out or have the opportunity to share.
The Little Heroes program encourages children to share their story of what it takes to be a hero in their hometown.
Maybe it's a child that decides, hey, we're going to write letters to nurses and doctors, or picking up trash in the community on a walk, while they're social distancing.
Kids can apply in a number of ways. They just have to be a child of an active military member.
Any child of a military dependent between the ages of 4 and 15 can fill out a one-page application, which then requires them to upload either a 300-word essay, a video, or a drawing.
Looking for leaders in the community and recognizing children who do extraordinary things.
Out of COVID-19 and out of Hunt Little Heroes, I think it's really about fostering this sense of kindness and that it takes a village. It's not just adults that do things, but it's also children.
In Springfield, Madison O'Brien, WAND News.
Submissions are open now and close April 20th. April 20th. Many winners will be selected on May 1st and will get a local
his acts of kindness during the COVID-19 outbreak. He's offering his tenants a special gift to help them through this difficult time. 23 ABC's Leslie Gooden sat down with the landlord who says it is the right thing to do.
Dennis Bieber is an attorney and a landlord who has decided to help his tenants with April's rent due to the COVID-19 outbreak. And since his act of kindness, it has inspired others to do the same. Dennis Bieber, a Bakersfield resident and a landlord for properties not only here in Kern County, but also in Los Angeles, says because of the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak, he wanted his tenants to have one less thing to worry about.
Don't pay April's rent. This is our gift for you. We are all in this war together, and we have to help out each other.
Bieber says he hopes his actions encourage other landlords who are in the position to do the same, and has this advice for them.
And landlords who own the property outright, who are not making mortgage payments, to think of a tenant not just as a source of income, but to think about that person's welfare.
Since his act of kindness, Bieber has been receiving calls of admiration from across the country, mostly from other landlords who say they're motivated by him.
What you did is really something. I'm going to do the same thing, and you encouraged me for that. Thank you.
Even inspiring fellow Bakersfield landlords like Patrick Jennison.
We're going to reduce their rent for the next 2 months, charging them half rent in April and half rent in May. And they were both thrilled with that, and we're hoping that we can encourage other landlords.
One of Genesis' grateful tenants is Andrea Holte, who lives in Newport Beach, California, and says with this rent gift, she'll be able to focus on other expenses, such as health care.
It won't go overlooked that I feel like it's not just for us, but it's for the common good of all of us.
And both landlords want to encourage others to do the same, no matter how big or small the gesture.
But there's one thing that can't wait another day, and that's Linda.
This is Linda. She's a woman my wife ran into a few months ago while out with the dog. Linda was with a walker and struggling to carry groceries. My wife helped her carry her things. They became friends, and we help her out when she's low on food.
Hi, Letitia. It's Linda. I expected that I would be well enough by now to do some shopping for myself, but I am not yet in good condition.
She asked for some food. I went to the store, got what she wanted, and dropped it off. That was the day before my wife and I had to isolate ourselves because Leticia came down with COVID-19. Then this week, we heard from Linda again.
Hi, Letitia. How are you?
I'm so. How are you doing?
Pretty poor. I fell again, and I banged my head.
Well, hang in there. How are you doing in terms of food? A friend of ours has offered to take food to your house.
Oh my goodness, that's so lovely.
That friend is Tamar. Last week, she went to the store for us. This time, she went food shopping for Linda and dropped it off at her home.
Hi, Letitia. Thank you so much for sending me Tamara. She's an angel.
It doesn't take angels to help each other out. It just takes a willingness to ask a stranger if they need help. That's something we're seeing a lot more of. Hopefully, it will continue when the pandemic is over.